All right. I think we got it going now. Hello again. This is Ben Hitchcock Cross talking to you. Today, I hope we got a treat here. This is me live reacting to, and that's, by the way, me, Ben Hitchcock Cross, live reacting to Aisha Carr on The Truth with Sherwin-Williams. This is a radio station local to Milwaukee, and I want to get this right because I think he's doing some fantastic work there. This is 101.7 FM, and I'm just going to be doing this in short clips and commenting just on certain parts of the I'm going to say testimony, but that's at least. So this is, again, she was last week, Monday, something like that. She was on the radio here, and I think it'll be interesting to compare and contrast that testimony there with what we got, what we've had before to what we have here. All right. So let's, I'm going to put us on pause and we'll be right back. All right. So here we are. We got Aisha Carr and Sherwin-Williams here. And I think the question that we're going to start out with, that we're going to focus on here, basically saying why, the question she's answering is why does the school need this? And there's a referendum outstanding. And the way that works is, if school districts need above and beyond the sort of money that they're allocated, and that there's limits and yada, yada, they have to go to their taxpayers in this district and ask them for a bunch of money. If they do, so, you know, like sometimes they'll have a referendum for a gym. Sometimes they'll have a referendum for certain things. Usually it's for specific capital improvements, not necessarily ongoing things, which is, I think, part of what's going on here. Is saying, you know, you've gotten so much money from COVID. Why do you need this money now? Let's see what she has to say.
So, you know, there's many ways to answer that. The first way I guess I'll start is by talking about, you know, there is much truth in the arguments of funding inequities at the state level. That has been a historic disparity that have fallen on the backs of children and families, educators, and communities throughout the city of Milwaukee.
Okay, what's she talking about there for our international audience? It's something like this. We have this bizarro funding program, scheme, I don't know what you would call it, in the state of Wisconsin. And basically, it's tied to some money coming directly from your tax dollars, and then other money is granted to you by the state of Wisconsin, usually on a per pupil basis, with a standard amount sort of going to all of the kids. And the concept is this, that there's a backfilling amount. We got Lala the dog with us. Backfilling amount, or, you know, the state sort of guarantees a specific amount per pupil. And then if your local district wants or affords more, they can do that. I will admit that I don't feel totally comfortable on that statement, and certainly I would like to have, and there is out there many people who are able to speak better on, you know, why we do that. But more or less, it's because your property taxes are funded by, the schools are funded by property taxes, and that's totally unfair and would be against our Constitution that gives every student a fair shot at education, guarantees them an education up to high school. So I think that that's sort of where the rubber hits the road with those two things. And naturally, and some would probably say that the whole point of that system is to have winners and losers. And you can imagine that most of the losers under that are going to be in the city of Milwaukee. Okay. And to be clear, are not going to be white. Okay. I mean, that is part of the whole concept there for many reasons. But, you know, just looking at the demographics as it is now, I think that's what we're talking about. So I do, because part of the reason we're bringing that up is what she's saying there is a standard talking point of the board, but it's true. There is a problem.
And it's unfortunate. We had a community meeting, we meaning school board directors, The superintendent was present, and the NAACP committees were there. And it was brought up by the school board president, Director Herndon, the 30-year battle with the state and funding inequities that ultimately have hurt our public educational system. And so there's truth there.
Yeah, and I that's what we're trying to say, I think, is that there is truth to what there is truth there. I think that is a fair statement. I do think she's doing a great job of looping in the title of the show. Fantastic.
In fact, and I want to make myself very clear.
We're jumping ahead a bit here.
When the board voted to determine if this would be something that we were going to attempt to pursue on the ballot as a referendum, I believe there were 7 to 2. 7 yes votes, 1 no, and 1 abstain. I abstain, one, because I don't want to give the message, and I know how people are in this political space. A no would be, oh, she's anti-teacher, she's anti-MPS, she's anti, they'll go so far as to say she's anti-black, she hates her people.
Well, you are a teacher, so there's no way you could be anti-teacher.
All right, let's, I just want to pause that there. Where are we? So the main thing I want to take back from that is, look, we understand that there is basically 2 ways that that they were getting things done during this period of time, is from what I recall, because this is what, back up. We understand that there was a period where she had 2 jobs and she was sort of abstaining from voting in the MPS thing for 2 reasons. One of was just because she didn't want to give the appearance of negativity. I think that's kind of what she's saying there. But then the other reason was also because she was there was not yet a decision for whether or not there was a conflict of interest, and in between the city job that she had and her position as the Milwaukee Public Schools board. I think that was the testimony. Correct me if I'm wrong here. And just so everybody can be clear, the source material for that, I think, is the 3rd video from her deposition. But do get back to me if I'm wrong on that one. It does happen from time to time. So, again, I think that we have some question. Let's put it like this. There is enough information that we have from the deposition to wonder about, is this really the only reason she's abstaining, right? She's saying people are going to say she's anti-black. They're going to say she's against the public schools. And, believe me, we get that. We totally get that concept. But we're also wondering if there wasn't other reasons as well. I think that's the best and fairest way to put it. Let's keep going.
Long educator. I love it. I miss being in the schools, in the classrooms. And this is really just to add to my skills and my abilities. But to go back to
that, I do think I wanted to highlight that part there. She's saying, and I think we do have some other evidence that, from what I understood, that this, meaning the school board position, was to hone her skills and abilities, sort of like it's part of her, career journey. It's a step on the road, which may be true, maybe not true. I don't know. But the reason I wanted to highlight that part was just because it didn't seem like pupil first. That's the point I thought was interesting from there. So I just want we're going to move on to another section here. And I think she's just about to talk about the budget, the complexity of the budget, and more or less like, I don't want to, here's what I want to compare and contrast. She's about to say, and I think I'm cutting off here because, man, this is the fine tuning on this video isn't as good as I hoped. And yes, there are better programs than Windows Media Player, but sorry. So she's going to say people need to be paying attention and people need to be showing up to board meetings and and I think a lot of times it's sort of the AOC like make you like do it thing, and I don't know why that was ever like clever sounding. I don't know, but that is the concept there. It's like make me do it, okay. But so what I'm saying is, I just think that's a cop-out for a politician. And then to compare that to, I think, the comments coming up about how complex the actual budget is.
A lot of fear-mongering. You talk about the propaganda and all of that. And I think all of those things are accurate. But the other part of it is, as a community, we have to do better with showing up and holding our district accountable. One of the things that kind of just made me kind of lose it a little bit was when I heard one of my colleagues say, the budget is online. Anyone can go on there and read it. And I was just thinking, like, I'm a school board director. I'm about to enter my 4th year, and I had to pay for PD and courses to understand a $1 billion budget. And so if I'm thinking like perhaps the average parent or the average family, some may be struggling with budgeting a 6-figure budget or balancing a 6-figure budget or even balancing their basic expenses and finances. How dare we expect for them to go online and read a 100-page or a 900-page?
Rookie move. Sorry, guys. I'm really bad with my figures here, but as 6 figures seems to me to be $99,000, $99,999 or less. And that, yeah, I think if you were to go, and she may have realized that was probably a big a stretch, like a too large of a number there, because she seemed to walk that back. And median income Milwaukee, $30,000 per year. So there would be a lot of room in the struggles of people. There would be a lot of people in the city of Milwaukee who probably are struggling on a 6-figure budget, a lot. So, yeah. But again, I'm not the master of the figures.
Budget with all of this information that is not comprehensible to the average person.
I want to take a break. When I come back, I want to get into something very...
All right. So that... I do thank her, though, for pointing out the fallacy, and I think that's what the what's going on here, the fallacy of, on the one hand, we are putting out this document that is 1,000 pages, that is basically in full of written in corporate budgetary speak, and is incomprehensible to anybody but a seasoned bureaucrat. Because you'll recall here the Matt Chasen explaining it to her, and we're on like hour 2.5 of that now, and it does seem like it's not the easiest concepts to grasp. So it's true that the average person cannot understand what's going on. But hey, I mean, the question is it's, I think, sorry, as a politician, and that is the theme that I wanted to encapsulate in that whole segment there. As a politician, you expect them to have a solution to that, not merely say shucks, oh dang, even possibly, especially when you're in the minority. Right? Because what else other than a solution is, otherwise it just sounds like whining. That's the way I want to put it. All right, and this is, again, seriously, go check out Sherwin Hughes and give them some likes, especially. There's a lot of good, if people are more interested in this, especially conditions in the city of Milwaukee, there's some really good content that they have under this vote no on the MPS referendum title series. I don't know if it's even a playlist, but cool. And I think he's asking a lot of really good questions. I just want to focus in on, besides anything else, just what she's working on here. So let's give her a few more. Sorry. The question really is, what's the problem? Okay. And she just exonerated the students, and I thought that was awesome. And now she's saying it's not the teachers, and maybe even the staff, but we'll keep going.
Because I have been in a situation where coming into education in a non-traditional fashion, going through an alternative teaching program, I didn't have everything that I needed my first year or two to be an excellent teacher, be the excellent teacher that my students needed at that time. I had to.
So, just in case it's unclear, because of the way it cut it, she's saying really, I've had an experience as an educator, which I think is pretty fascinating about her, and I didn't have the support. I hate using the word support. I didn't have the resources. The children did not get what they needed while I was teaching that classroom, is what I'm hearing here.
Go above and beyond. I had to advocate for myself, but I also was in a classroom setup where there were two teachers. There was city year. There was other individuals, other professionals in that space. And so we created what worked for our students at that time. Unfortunately, that didn't really get perfected until maybe year 3 or so. But I can attest to our relentless, unyielding efforts, I'll say, to ensure that we were advocating for ourselves to get what we needed in order to be the best for our students. And so for that reason, there's so many educators out there who want to teach, but they have to be everything else, or they have to work multiple jobs because they're not earning enough. And so I don't even know if the blame is to place there.
And two other really interesting things about that. Lack of pay, she's citing, but also that they're having. She said, I want to be clear. She's saying that she was sort of in a privileged position. I have no idea why, if it was the school or for whatever it is, but she's also saying that she had to not only advocate for herself and her students in order to make things happen, otherwise she would have been going not forward. But she had to learn how to do that. Meaning, in other words, it wasn't like a skill set that you came with out of the gate. All right. All right, there you have it. I'm at sort of the 18 and a half minute mark, 20 here, so I just want to button that segment up. I mean, I don't think there was anything that was extraordinarily jaw-dropping there, but I think it's the main thing that I want to contrast between this, and again, we use testimony and the deposition testimony there, was that she was, thank you, Lala, advocating on behalf of MPS at the deposition, I think. And now she's sort of advocating as a politician for herself here. I think that's fair. So far, that's the main distinction that I've seen. I haven't even seen any, tremendous, contradictions yet. But you tell me what you see, and we'll go from there. I'm going to stop this one here. We'll go forward and record another one and see how it goes. All right.